Hey, what's going on, guys? Kitsune TCG here, back with another Spright profile. This time doing another Spright Twins profile. I took it to the remote Duel Extravaganza over the weekend. Managed to make the top 16 top cut. Unfortunately lost against rikka sunavolon. Really should be more familiar with that matchup. Unfortunately, that was just kind of on me. I definitely could have played that a lot better. I really like the deck. I think it's a lot of fun. Definitely just kind of wanted to show off, how I built this one, maybe where you can make some changes and then just kind of where to go from there. But overall, really am enjoying this deck. I think this has been my favorite version of Spright to play. We'll definitely see. I'm definitely going to continue playing this until at least Darkwing Blast comes out. So we've got your standard Spright package. We've got the 3 blue, 3 jet. I'm still doing 2 red. I think that's perfectly fine. You can go down to 1 if you want. This is a 42 card build, so if you're worried about that, you can definitely take it down to 1. But I like 2 just to have an additional 1 in deck if I need it. The 1 carrot, and the 1 pixies as far as the Spright monsters go. Carrot's great. There are definitely a lot of decks I saw this weekend that were running a lot of spell and traps, so the ability to have that was really nice. The pixies just kind of got me over any monster I was worried about, so it was definitely also pretty nice to have. Then we've got the 3 starter and the 1 smashers rounding out just the kind of Spright engine. I maybe would consider doing a second smasher, because I ran into a lot of just Mystic Mine is obviously still kind of just running around. Just a lot of that was kind of really making me want a little bit more interaction with spell and traps. 3 Swap Frog. And then, we are still running the live twin engines. So we've got 2 Lilla, 2 Kiss a Kill Frost. Sometimes drawing it's not the worst because, even if you do happen to draw it, just depending on how your hand looks, maybe you can get the Lilla out with Gigantic, and then special it that way. So kind of just depends on how your hand looks overall as far as what plays you have. Pretty much every game, just from this, you are going to be able to make Toad. And then we still do just run the 1 Kiss a Kill, just in case you need that. Sometimes if you have the Kiss a Kill Frost in hand, you can go Lilla, summon the Kiss a Kill, and then you're able to do a little bit of your live or your evil twin plays as well. And to round out the main deck for the monsters, we got 3 DD Crow, 2 Ash. This would be something I would consider changing just because I am playing Crossout, so I would like a little bit more targets. Now there are obviously some situations where I was seeing Spooky Dogwood or Ghost Mourner. I'm not going to run those just because I don't think that they're as good, but I have seen some people playing them, but I'm not too worried about getting hit by those so much as maybe just adding a Veiler or something. Maybe if I really wanted so I'm pretty happy with that, but that may be the only thing where I would maybe move some things around if I wanted to try out some additional hand traps. 3 Prosperity, just kind of gets you anything you want, from your side deck, or if you need a starter, or if you just want to bait Ash. Just love the card. 3 Talent. This would maybe be something I would cut either completely or down to 2. When I saw it, it was fairly nice, but I feel like maybe I could have something else in its place and be just as happy. 3 Dark Ruler. And that just kind of goes along a little bit with the 3 Crossout, and then I've got 3 Imperm as far as my last hand trap. So I do run Crossout. It does cover me for Imperm and mainly Ash. Sometimes, in the mirror match, I could, hit a blue or a jet or even a starter. It just kind of depends on what the board is and who I'm going against. But I really liked having Crossout in the deck for Dark Ruler. I think it really throws a lot of people off guard, being able to do that, and then they don't really have a play beyond that, having to get through a 2-tone negates or in whatever else, maybe a smasher set. So definitely enjoyed having that in there, and it came up quite a bit. I mean, I don't really think I ever bricked on too many crossouts, so I'm not upset at playing it. I kind of like it in the deck. Moving on to the extra deck, I've got 2 Gigantic, 1 Cat Shark. This may be something, probably the only one in the extra deck I would consider maybe switching for something, but I liked having it just because there were a few instances where opponent has a monster that, normally you're not able to beat over. I mean, you can make Gigantic 3200 by using a Link 2, but sometimes even that, maybe you need a little bit more, or maybe you're just trying to go for game. Having Cat Shark, you can even double the 3200, so just kind of depends. I like having it though still, but it'd be something that if you want something else, you could definitely switch it out for. The 1 Toad, and then the best little kind of engine in the probably in the game is the Zeus engine. We play the Sky Cavalry, the Downard, and Zeus. This is great. I mean, I think the nicest thing about it is I played a few Exosister, and they just want to drop, D-Shifter, set up a little bit of a board, and kind of pass. And as long as you're able to deal a little bit with their board, you're just able to kind of, go Zeus, kind of clear it, and then just, sit on that, and they don't have really anything in their grave or, typically in their hand at that point either. So other than that, I mean, obviously it's still really great, going second, you're just kind of able to kind of deal with a lot of issues. To Elf, I don't think you need a third one. I see a lot of people playing it in a few builds, and I get that there's maybe not necessarily anything else they would want to be playing, but I think if you're getting to 3, Spright is not going to be doing well in like a grind match like Tier Limit can do, so I don't really think that having that third is going to ever matter. If you're at that point where you want it, I think you're in a really bad like kind of losing position, and I'd just rather have like more utility. I've got 2 Kiss to Kill and 1 Lilla for the Link 2s. I like these, depends on your hand. Sometimes, maybe if you just happen to brick and you don't see enough Spright names, this is definitely something that kind of you can go into and just kind of create a little bit more of like a control deck. The 1 Dark, the one thing I would cut for Cat Shark is maybe bring in another Charmer just to have, but definitely run Dark, and then maybe just kind of try and like throw 1 more in there somewhere else. The 1 Trouble Sunny, this did definitely come up about 2, maybe 3 times for game, just being able to kind of link them away, attack, and then tag out to let these guys attack for game. And then Underworld Goddess, same kind of thing, did kind of come up for me. I only played 1 Attic Nister, but I'm sure that there are definitely more like towers out there. Just being able to get 4 monsters on the board and then just link their guy away, so really nice. Did come up, wouldn't cut it. I think it's definitely a card that is worth running. Let me just go through and show off side deck. So we do play 1 Red Resonator. I mean, it's unfortunate we have to do this, but the way the time rules are, and because Tier Limit does themselves play a time card, you just always want to have something just in case. I hope that, that we can hopefully eventually get something different for time rules, but until then, it's definitely something you have to consider, especially just because those Tier Limit matches take so long. I mean, I've seen so many times where, like, game 1, it's like a 40-minute game, or, and you just definitely need something to kind of combat that. The 3 Lightning Storm and the 1 Duster for my spells. This is obviously really good, You just want to make sure you have something for back row decks. They are still running around, especially with Reboot being banned. I saw a little bit more back row than normal. I mean, I know it was a 1-of before, but I mean, you were still able to draw it, so having that kind of gone, I feel like that's definitely pushed a lot of people to try out some trap decks. 3 anti-spell. I mean, if you can stick Toad plus anti-spell against Runic, you're fine. I mean, because they're not going to be able to, if you can just Toad negate their destruction, and then you have a anti-spell up, and I mean, unless they have, just the perfect hand, they're not going to really be able to play around that. 3 evenly, can just kind of more going second cards. I do play 3D barrier. This would be the one thing I would cut. I don't think I went into this all weekend. It's nice, but I played 1 or 2 tier matchups and a few Exo-Sister matchups, but I don't think I ever really needed this against Exo-Sister, so I would probably cut it for something else. I'm not sure what I would really change it out for, but yeah. Then I got the 1-a-pointer. It is unfortunate that it got limited. I mean, this card was just great. Prior you were seeing it a lot more often. I'd still play the 1-of, just because if you do see it, you are pretty much winning that game. You'll know what your opponent has, and you can take the best card out of their hand. So I would still play it, even though it's at 1. But yeah. So let me know what y'all think down below. Let me know what version maybe of Spright y'all are playing, or if you're playing like pure live twin. I am very curious to see what people are kind of heading towards this format, but really enjoyed this, really kind of happy with how the deck performed, and yeah, just excited to kind of continue to get to play this. And y'all have a great day.